think tanks in the United States all of having the same name, right? The Institute for Strategic Studies, the Strategic Studies Institute, the Institute for Thoughtful Foreign Policy, Thoughtful Institute, they all have the same name. 8 of those 10 are funded by nuclear weapons contractors. It is no mistake that the narrative we hear in Congress and in the media about nuclear policy, about the silence that confronts us right now, about how insane our policy is right now, of seeing how close we can get to defeating Russia maybe without getting them into nuclear war, but hey, it's worth a chance. This is what we hear by the lunatics in our media, people who know nothing except what they are fed by these think tanks and by the politicians and other leaders who are literally owned by Raytheon, Lockheed, and the rest. So we are surrounded by this ecosystem of media, think tanks, military contractors. This is a machine. It's clear where our policies are coming from now, and it is clear who our enemy is. Our enemy, of course, is not the people who work for Raytheon and for all these other institutions. They are just like the rest of us, owned by this war machine. It is the war machine that we have to free ourselves from. We have to figure out how to do this, but knowing what the problem is, where it lies, is a big step. And more people in this country know about this ecosystem of war and horror, and are aware how we have been lied to year after year after year about one war or another, about missile gaps, about this and that and everything else. Today, of course, we lost Daniel Ellsberg.
Yes.
While it will be hard to make up for that loss, I think it's time that each of us has to reach into the Daniel Ellsberg in each of us. And so I just want to close with a few words from not Daniel Ellsberg, but from his son. I did not even know Daniel Ellsberg had a son. And yet his son has been working for peace for years and years. So Robert Ellsberg tells us this on the death of his dad. Now the threat of nuclear war has been joined by the devastating consequences of climate change. It is very unclear whether humanity and our social structures, as currently constituted, are equipped to meet these threats. And yet, the consequences of inaction are so catastrophic that they justify any effort to remedy them, even without certainty of success. He says in an interview with his dad said, I should say, we all care about those in our circle, our group, our tribe. But who cares about the others, about those outside our group, our country, about our species? I, Daniel Ellsberg says, identify with those who care about others. Those people are my tribe. His son Robert goes on, and I'll close with this. To me, my dad was a prophet, calling on the world to turn around, to choose life, to avoid catastrophe, To himself, he was more like Cassandra. She was blessed with the gift of seeing the future, but also a curse. No one would believe her when she spoke about what she saw. This caused my dad great pain. Still, he loved life, he loved the world and its creatures. And so he kept on reminding us of our responsibility to warn the world to take care about the planet and its inhabitants. Thank you, Robert Ellsberg. Thank you, Daniel Ellsberg.
Thank you, Paul. We also have a handout on the Raytheon issue here at the table as well. On the other side, the bills with their numbers are there, the 3 nuclear bills we're talking about. Next up is Eileen Krokowski from, here you go, Wilf, sorry.
Thank you, Paul, for bringing up Daniel Ellsberg. My name is Eileen Krokowski. I'm a member of a 108-year-old organization, a peace organization, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, which has won 3 Nobel Prizes, the last one in 2017 for the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. I'm here today to express my deep regards for the Vets for Peace, both the skipper and the crew of the Golden Rule, and to share some hope. My regards are twofold. One is personal. When I was in my 20s, a friend and I survived a small boat incident off the shore of Martha's Vineyard as a gale moved in. I have a very high regard for this team that's doing our project, or their project, because I feel very lucky to be alive, and I felt something was watching over me and my friend that day. Secondly, as a citizen of the world, I honor the energetic Golden Rule team for their extraordinary vision and project to warn people of the growing danger of nuclear war and for building support to abolish nuclear weapons. As you know, over 120 nations signed on to the TPNW, but the nuke owners and supporters are seemingly getting their way. I disagree somewhat, because if you consider the resistance and actions occurring in the US and other countries, maybe they're not. Today, I'm sharing recent hopeful international messages to let you know we are not alone in our efforts. Here's some examples. On May 8th, several opponents of war entered Bechel Air Base in Germany to block a new air runway that is to deploy new nuclear weapons. On May 31st, the opening of CANSEC, North America's largest military weapons convention in Ottawa, was again disrupted when more than 100 people marched in protest. Organized by World Beyond War, entrances were blocked and speakers held up. One protester was arrested but was released without charges. Competition. In Turkey in April, activists marched several miles to the country's only commercial nuclear power plants, made by Russia, at Akuyu. These reactors received their first shipment of nuclear fuel. A Workers' Party parliamentary candidate was one of the people arrested 4 miles into the